Hey everyone, for anyone who has already been subscribed to me knows that I've already made an Almond Tofu Genshin Impact video, but I kind of just made that video based off the Genshin Impact recipe and also just what my basic knowledge of almond tofu was at the time. So it wasn't traditional or used the proper ingredients by any means. In honor of Xiao's release in the 1.3 update, I wanted to make an almond tofu that was more visually similar to what we see in Genshin and also with the traditional ingredients that almond tofu is normally made out of. The two key differences between this video and my last video, which you guys have not watched yet, go ahead and check it out just to get a point of reference and then come back to this video. But the first ingredient is this bag of nuts. No, actually these are sweet apricot kernels or apricot seeds. I kind of bought just like whatever I could find on Amazon, but this is what they use instead of almonds, even though it is called almond tofu. They're also very visually similar to almonds, which is why I thought they were almonds in the game, so that's my bad. However, the taste of these are drastically different than almonds. They have a sweet aftertaste, sweet notes, and it fits better with a dessert than regular almonds. The second ingredient is for the syrup, and these are called Osmanthus flowers. These are called Osmanthus flowers. It is used to make tea in Chinese culture, and it has a sweet, floral, and very aromatic taste and scent to it, and it's drastically different than the honey water mixture that I made in the last video. So hopefully this will provide a better flavor and also will provide a better visual experience because you will see the little flowers in the syrup. But without further ado, let's get started. The first step is to take these sweet apricot kernels and soak them in water overnight. Pour 1 cup of the kernels into a bowl and then cover with water. This will help peel back the outer layer of the seeds, so they'll be easier to remove later in the process. After the overnight soak, drain and put the kernels into a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, a blender would work here too. If you don't have either, you're kinda out of luck. Add 2 cups of water, but don't use the water that the kernels soaked in, use fresh water. Blend until the liquid turns milky and all the seeds have been fully processed and crushed. Drain this liquid into a bowl and make sure to press into the pulp to get all of that liquid out. This is the key flavor of almond tofu, so you don't want to leave any of that flavor behind. This is optional, but you can take the pulp, spread them out on a baking tray, bake them at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes to dry them out. You can add texture to the final product and it kind of looks like as if there is something similar in the Genshin image. Take a saucepan and pour in 1 cup of water and then add at least 6 grams of agar powder. I say at least 6 grams because that is what I found to be necessary for the dish to set and become solid. If you are worried about your measurements or potentially having the dish not set, feel free to add more. I recommend 10 to 12 grams before it starts becoming a little too jelly-like. Gelatin is an alternative that you can use here. You can use the same measurements, but I have not personally done this dish with gelatin, so I don't know exactly what the texture will be like, but I do know that the dish should set as long as you use the same measurements. Add 1/2 cup of granulated sugar and mix. Allow this mixture to simmer for at least 5 minutes to fully dissolve all of the agar. If the agar is not fully dissolved, then it will struggle to solidify later. After 5 minutes, add all of the apricot seed liquid and simmer for 8 to 10 minutes. Make sure it doesn't boil over. Finally, turn off the heat, then add 2 cups of any milk that you wish. I personally used whole milk here, but options are reduced fat milk such as 2%, soy milk, almond milk, oat milk, and any other variations you wish. Pour the mixture through a strainer in any container that you want. I chose a loaf pan because that's just what I have on hand. Optionally, you can cover with plastic wrap to prevent any external scents from the fridge to permeate into the almond tofu. Let this set in the fridge for at least 3 hours. Leave it in the fridge overnight just to be safe if you want. While we wait on the tofu, we can work on the syrup. In the other video, I used honey and water for those who don't have access to Osmanthus. However, that lacks a certain flavor and aroma that Osmanthus syrups provides, so I highly suggest this if you wish to be traditional and accurate. Start with 1/2 cup of water and then 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. This is the beginnings of a simple syrup. You can adjust the measurements if you don't want to make as much as me or you want to make even more syrup than me. You just have to make sure that the water to sugar ratio is 1:1. Allow this to simmer for a few minutes, then add 1 to 2 tablespoons of Osmanthus. Turn off the heat and let the leaves simmer in the syrup for at least 30 minutes. Optionally, you can strain the leaves from the syrup if you don't wish to be chewing on Osmanthus flowers. Back to the almond tofu, if you notice here, there is a difference in the color from the exterior and the interior. This is due to the fact that I processed the kernels with the skins on. If you remove the skins prior, then it would be clear, but that's a lot of effort for me, so what I do is thinly slice the exterior off. Cut the almond tofu to the shapes you desire, probably squares because we're all trying to replicate Genshin, and then place in a serving dish. Drizzle the Osmanthus syrup over and add the dried seeds over the top. No fresh mint or berry garnish, but I present the more accurate and traditional version of almond tofu. I hope that this wins the praise of everyone's favorite mask-wearing adeptus. If you make this dish, hope that it brings you luck when you're pulling for Xiao. Feel free to show me your takes on almond tofu on my Instagram, Twitter, or Discord. Links to all of my socials are down below. Let me know what else I should make, and I'll see you on the next one.